You're my new boo.
Not boo like that, Cheryl. Boo.
Boo is
No, it wasn't scary. It's just what we called it. I saw it.
You're my boo.
No,
She got it on
But
Pinterest.
it was
Whatever.
a boo plate.
Welcome to the Just Us Sisters podcast. Life doesn't come with a manual, so we made a podcast.
Hi, welcome to Just Us Sisters podcast. I am so glad that you are joining us today for Small Town versus Big City. I'm Susan. I'm hosting us. I want to introduce my sisters to you. Cheryl, number 2, Shelly, number 3, and Stacy, number 4. I was reading some interesting data on small town versus big city. I wanted to see what y'all thought. Where do you think most people live? In the smaller towns, like percentage of America? I just want to do a quick test. Small towns or big cities?
I think big cities.
Small towns.
Small towns.
I did too. Stacy, you are right.
Oh.
In the last American census, 80% of Americans lived in urban areas and only 20% in rural areas.
What?
Yeah, I
think
know.
that's
That
right.
shocked me because I really thought that most of the people lived in small town America. But
That's why when people vote, the larger city areas have such an impact because there's so many people there.
yes,
That's
now,
why I said it.
a key point is that many Americans think they don't live in a city, but if they live in the suburbs, which several of us have lived in the suburbs of a large metro area.
Oh, so you're including suburbs.
Is Austin considered a metro area?
Well, I don't know.
Or is it just like
in a metro area?
Dallas and Houston?
Yeah.
Is that? Okay.
Well, metropolitan areas do include the suburbs. So I probably should have told y'all that up front.
Yeah.
But I honestly thought that most people lived in small town USA. And since we're talking about that, I just want to kind of see, where have y'all lived, like small town versus city, and how long did you live there? Just for some background on today's discussion. I lived in, I consider 3 small towns. I lived in Sherrill, and that was for like 3 years, and Winsboro for about 3 years total, and now Bertram for about 3 months. Okay.
I'm all over the place because we've lived in Houston. Cheryl, you've lived in Houston.
You lived in Houston too, sure. I know. I was just talking about small town. I want everyone to know if you've lived in cities, small. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Houston too.
Houston, Denton, which I think is a suburb-ish of Dallas, kind of, maybe. I don't know. And then Round Rock, which is a suburb. Gosh, I'm not going to call them out. Probably more cities than small towns, if you include the suburbs.
Yeah. What about you, Shelley?
Well, see, I don't consider suburbs big cities. So I did live in Houston. From there, Leander, which has 87,000, to Liberty Hill, which has 15,000.
Really? Liberty Hill only has 15,000?
I just looked it up.
Well, growing up, we all grew up in the suburb of San Antonio. And then when I got married, I lived in like the smallest town that I've ever lived in my life.
Yeah.
That most people.
Yeah. 469. And I'm thinking they're counting the cattle too. But in Oglesby outside of Waco. Then we moved to Houston, which we lived there for 16 years. And then we left Houston, moved to the suburbs of Houston, lived there 30. Then we lived in small town, not small town like Oglesby, but Alvin, Texas for almost 2 years. And now we're living in a very small, it's not even a city, it's considered a village, but it has more people than Oglesby did. And Oglesby was a town. So I kind of feel like I've been in both and have enjoyed both, honestly. And I think y'all probably could say the same. But what's one vivid memory that you guys had that made you realize this is why I love blank, like big city, or this is why I love small town?
Well, I'm probably different from my sisters as usual, but my preference would be truly in a big city, not suburb, but a big city. And living where we live now, I miss the conveniences that are just literally in a big city. Walk out your door and around the corner could be what you need to get. But out here, it is peaceful and it is quiet. So there's pros and cons to both.
I tend to lean toward the smaller town. I love the small town atmosphere of people waving at you. If you're sitting in a coffee shop, if you're going to talk to somebody, you're going to be there for a while because you're going to know everything about them and they're going to know everything about you. And I just love that. And they truly care. Like if they say, "How you doing?" They actually really want to know. I don't know if it's to tell other people or, to pray for you or what, but it does seem like they care.
Hey, I think it's funny how, Shelley, you were all around the conveniences and Cheryl's all around the people. I don't know, I think that's what it would boil down to, right? I liked them both. It was seasonal for me. I like being close to everything where you could practically walk to go eat dinner. To, if I had my preference now in this time of my life, I would like to be as far out in a small town or country ranch as I could get. Just that peace, and looking in the sky at night and seeing the stars and the quietness and just slowing down.
One thing that when Tom and I met many moons ago, one thing that I told him is that I would never move to Houston because I had in my mind, city and crowded and congested and
Crime.
I just didn't like big areas like that. And as God would have it, 4 years after we married, we moved to Houston, of all places. And honestly, it surprised me how the people just all the conveniences of theater and going to see concerts. And so that was really a nice part of that transition from a small town to a city. And it really did surprise me. I had to tell him I'm sorry that I said I'd never move to Houston because it ended up being a beautiful experience. What kind of rhythms and stressors do you see how these different big city versus small town differ? Do you see any difference or not?
I do. I think when we moved from Cedar Park, I think it was 2011 or 2012 to Columbus, it was like like that song Lukenbach, get down to what really matters. And we slowed down. And I think that was a much needed time and it was refreshing. So yeah, I think there's big differences there.
Still working. So in my life, when I'm driving home, I'm looking for quiet, ease, but I'm still driving from the city to the country.
Right.
So I still have the stressors of transportation and stuff like that. But the rhythm seems to be so much slower here than when we lived in the city. Cheryl, are you finding that?
Well, I remember in Winsboro, we'd be out working and Johnny said, "I got to run into town to the hardware store real quick." So he'd leave and I'd still be out working on the place. And I was like, wow, it's been a long time. And then he'd finally get back and said, "Oh my gosh, what took you so long?" He said, "Well, I had to talk to everybody I bumped into at the hardware store. I didn't know them, but they want to know where we were from. And surely you're not from California and all these things." And so you just have to know it's a very slowed down way of life. The stressor is lower, but you can't, like Shelley wants things at the snap of her fingers. That's not how it works here.
Yeah.
Or, here or a small town.
Yeah, I would
So-
say I've been more stressed in the year that we've lived in what is truly considered a small town, but mainly because of the planning involved to get places, the time that it takes to get anywhere. I mean, we were literally, 15 minutes was pushing it, getting to anywhere we wanted to go. And now, it's longer and I get out less because of that. So socially, I'm not experiencing as much social life as I was.
Yeah, all the lunch ladies on Thursday, "Where's Shelley?" I
You're
said,
missing
well,
lunch?
I
she
am.
she's missing. They're like, where is she?
I'm
So
way out there.
Hey,
yeah,
I invite people to come out to dinner to our house. They said, do we need to pack a bag?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah.
30 minutes. You know,
I always want to invite my peers out, for dinner to enjoy Casey's cooking, not mine, but his. And I feel like they're like, that's like an all day event.
even my kids are like, we have to drive all the way out there.
yeah, that's true.
So what's something you took for granted in one setting, whether it was the small town or the large city that became a major pain point, or it could have become it was a luxury. And then when you switch to the other, you realize, oh my, this is a problem, or oh my, this is wonderful.
I think for us, it's back to the conveniences and distance. Moving where we moved, my husband's commute is now an hour, and that's taking tolls. And so obviously that's an inconvenience. I think in small towns, you're more aware of the politics than in the big city because it's all the talk of the town. And I don't always consider that a positive.
I had to look at my paper because I was having a hard time thinking, what do I miss? HEB
Yeah.
being 5 minutes away.
Yes.
Of course, we still have that Dollar General. We got the Dollar General.
General, we have that too. But they don't have all the amenities.
Well, they don't have meat.
I did not eat vegetables from Dollar General.
No.
Mine is conveniences as well. HEB. Although I do order. We live far enough out. We don't have one, but close enough that we can have them delivered. Yeah. You don't? Have
I've
you
never-
tried? Try it.
Try it.
I did curbside.
$4.95 plus tip.
Wow.
Not bad.
I think the conveniences, like y'all said, with the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be I would go to the grocery store every day when I lived in the city.
Wow.
I hate the
Because I
grocery
had
store.
Buy it.
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
7 minutes from my house. Now, when we go once a week and we make sure that we get everything that we need in doubles, so we don't run out.
Yeah.
Because you can't just run up there.
There's Amazon. You could have Amazon deliver.
Well, Amazon, yeah. But it not only is an inconvenience, but I'm not very organized. And so to be organized on like planning ahead on, like Shelley said, the time, planning ahead on meals. I don't plan. Do y'all plan ahead on meals?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what you're having Friday?
No.
I don't.
I know Shelley knows. She's having pizza
Fridays are pizza night.
Oh, Fridays are pizza night. Well,
every Friday. So if
That's
you don't
good.
want pizza, don't go to Shelley's.
We plan our meals out, but we have to because I order the groceries. And so we plan it based off of what we have ordered. So, yeah.
in the big cities, people often say that you have more, and Shelley would probably agree with this, more options, right? We can all agree to that. But then I've heard people say more options, but shallower connections. And small town, it's the opposite. Has that been y'all's experience?
I think your tribe is where you are.
Yeah.
When we moved to Columbus, I loved it there and I loved the people, but they already had their connections. They lived there forever. They'd been friends forever. People my age grew up there, and getting into one of those groups wasn't easy for me to do. Probably very lonely there. Had friends, but didn't have that deep connection because they already had that. And so I think that you have to be ready for that if you're going to move to a small town where people grow up and don't leave because they love it.
The same experience, Stacy, when we moved to Alvin. We weren't very long. We were just living there while our home was being built. But we moved into a home that we owned there. And so I thought, oh, this is going to be awesome. We'll get to know these neighbors. And I waited about 6 weeks and no one came over and introduced themselves. And this is a small town. Alvin's like about 27,000. And I mean, we had people like right there. And so I thought, well, I'm going to make banana nut bread and take it to everyone and go introduce myself. And it was so weird because I went over and said, hey, just letting you know, we're new to the neighborhood and just wanted to bring you some banana nut bread. I'm Susan Allen, and they were like, oh, thank you. And a couple of them would, visit, but I just thought, wait a minute. I thought small towns were supposed to be
Yeah.
friendly and, I just didn't find that to be the case.
I think that mom and dad brought us up, though, to be hospitable when we meet people. It doesn't matter who they are. If they're new, you go and introduce yourself. And like you did, if they don't, then you go introduce yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Winsboro, everybody was telling us it's hard to break in there. It's not if you break them in. And that's what we did.
How did you begin to build meaningful relationships?
You go to church, you do what Johnny did. He took the time, 30 minutes in Tractor Supply and in the hardware stores at Brookshire's, and just started meeting people. When you go get your tire changed, don't just drop the car off and leave. Drop the car off and start talking to the people.
Yeah.
So that was hard to leave Winsboro because we had developed. Well, I had already known a lot of them through the church 30-something years ago, but we had reignited some friendships and made a lot of new friends too.
I think it must be a hardware store personality because Tom would go to Patco Ace Hardware in Alvin, Texas, and he would stay there forever. And after a while, people would call his name. If I went with him, they'd go, "Hey, Tom, how you doing?" And
Yeah.
it must, there's something about the hardware store.
Hardware stores and coffee shops, cafes, little like the Junction here. And
we live 20 minutes from Alvin now, and he still drives to Patco Hardware.
really,
Yeah, because
that's
they were
funny.
so friendly and always help.
Mhm.
So, but that's a great idea of building relationships. Do you know that when we moved to this neighborhood, they had a hospitality committee and a welcoming band?
Wow.
There were 3 or 4 women that came and brought homemade items and towel and
That's neat.
yeah, and it just made me feel so much a part of this community. So,
Yeah.
any other ways y'all have found to build relationships in these small or in cities?
When we moved to Berry Creek, it was in the 1st of October. And so for Halloween, the weekend before Halloween, we took all our neighbors' boo plates. It was like cake ball, ghost cake balls and cookies. And we just called it a boo plate and introduced ourselves.
Boo.
Yeah, boo.
You're my new boo.
Not boo like that, Cheryl. Boo.
Boo is in what?
No, it wasn't scary. It's just what we called it. I saw it on
wasn't
Pinterest.
Boo. It was
It wasn't.
Boo.
You're my boo. That
No,
oh,
She got it on
Right.
Pinterest, I'm sure.
okay.
I did. It was a boo plate, like
Boo.
boo. Boo.
Like
boo.
Question. But hey, I want to say something about this so real quick. I found, and I just was thinking about this when I knew we were going to talk about this subject. I found people in the city to be friendlier, and
Wow.
and this is why I'm thinking this. People were moving from all over. I mean, there was someone from Alaska. There was someone from New York. There were people moving in. They were all new. They had not lived in Texas all their life. And I found them to be very easy to get to know.
Well, they're looking for a connection.
Yeah, they're looking for their tribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we were all in the same boat when I moved to Pearland, it was even a new subdivision. So everyone was new there.
Yeah.
And some of them weren't from there. And it was very easy to get to know them. And one thing too, I noticed about the city was it was much more multicultural. I didn't notice that about small towns. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. And so we basically raised our kids around all different races that spoke different languages. And I love that they got to meet people from different places. We all
Yeah.
look alike,
Yeah.
So And Cheryl mentioned this. I want to just say real quick. Cheryl mentioned the role that the church played for her in meeting people in a small town environment. What other areas or what other roles did the church or coffee shops or, even small restaurants play in to meet people or to become more involved in that community, those smaller communities?
Mine was the kids' sport, the other parents and the moms meeting at the locker room to decorate or to pray over the kids, the night before when they're not there. I think that was one of the biggest, was because that's who we were around all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Church plays a big part, regardless of where we live, just developing relationships there. But I think we all like to meet new people. That never has scared us or, didn't appeal to us. And so, sometimes you make a connection and sometimes you've just met a new person, but the opportunity is always there. I think Liberty Hill tries to have that "you ain't from around here" attitude.
Are there still some, Shelley?
There are. A lot of them are moving out toward Bertram and such, but there are some diehards
We welcome all redneck
digging
and
their
everybody
boots
else.
digging their boots in.
You're a transplant, Cheryl, into Bertram.
Yeah, but I fit right in.
One thing that I've noticed about Gerald is that they are trying so hard, the old timers, which I consider myself, trying so hard to keep it quaint and small. And it's a losing battle. You just can't do it. So
Well, with Stacy saying that, it reminded me because when we moved to Leander in the early 1980s, there were 1,500 people. It was truly a small town. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, it now has over 87,000. And so that kind of broke my heart because the small town of Leander is no more. And what's making it even worse is the people moving in want to change it. And I thought, what drew you to this place to begin with? And, why would you want to change it? But, in this area that a lot of us live in, you're not going to stop the growth. It's just kind of sad to see sometimes.
You said that in Pearland, when we moved to Pearland, there were about 37,000, and now there's 130,000.
Wow.
But
Wow.
it grew exponentially, and where we weren't prepared for it.
Yeah.
Prepared in a lot of ways. So what's one stereotype about the city or the small town that you wish would die?
think that people think people are friendlier in small towns than big cities. And I think that it would make people not go and try and make friends sometimes because they are afraid of what the people are going to be like.
Maybe that's why we have the majority of the people living in the urban areas.
I think for the small towns, I think it's okay to do what Stacy said, to try to keep the quaintness of it. But you also have to be a little progressive, because if people are wanting to move here, they're probably going to move here and they're going to need water and they're going to need sewage. And so we have to try to keep up with the growth, because everything's getting pushed out to small towns, whether we want it or not. So we can still keep the quaintness of the city, the small, but we got to stay up to date or we'll be in trouble.
Well, I
with
know
water.
back in the late 70s, early 80s, Austin, the powers that be took the attitude, if we don't build it, they won't come. Well, they came. And so for the last 40 years, they've been trying to play catch up with the influx of people that have come. And that's definitely not the way. You're right, Cheryl. That's not the way to handle it. It's just sad, though, to see the true small town spirit be replaced, especially when you were a part of the small town.
So
Yeah.
if you had to bring one strength from like the small town to, let's say you moved to the city, or if you were moving from the city to the small town, what's one strength that you would bring with you to it?
HEB.
Amen.
I think it's the convenience of big city to the small town without it impacting your small town.
But
And
is
I
that
think,
possible?
I don't know.
I don't
but
think so.
You didn't say it had to be possible.
I didn't.
True.
I said, what's one strength?
And then I think how slow life can get and feel in a small town if you could take that to the big city.
That's what I put.
Just slow it down.
Yeah.
Blow the roll.
Blow the roll.
Yeah, I agree.
Go to Lukenbach, Texas. With
Waylon and Willie and the boys.
Yeah.
That's all we
Yeah.
can sing because we don't have the
No
trademark.
rights. No rights to that song.
We went to Lukenbach 2 weeks ago. That was my
Oh.
first time.
I've never been.
And it
What?
was so laid back. I mean, just
Yeah.
so quiet. And there was live music. If anyone,
Did they sit around that fire ring and just kind of pick on the guitars?
they did have a stage,
Well, I know,
a
but
small stage. It wasn't like the stage you think about.
right.
And guess who was singing? I couldn't tell you any of their names, but they are people that are songwriters, up and coming songwriters.
Oh,
And they just
that's
had their
cool.
guitars, and it was so good. It was so simple, and no lights, no
Oh.
drums, just acoustics. Well, but I mean, it was just made it simple. So, what's one thing you would do to make where you live a better place?
When you said you had that welcoming committee in your neighborhood, I thought that would make somebody instantly feel at home, I think. And I love that idea. I may go try and implement that in my life.
I want to shout out to Susan Youngs, my neighbor, who was on that welcoming committee, and Rhonda Killen. They made us feel very welcomed and special.
Mhm.
So
Think wherever you are that you should meet as many people and truly meet them, not just on the surface as you can, and get involved in your community
Mhm.
and try to keep it on top of everything.
For me, just being content no matter where I am. That old adage, grass is always greener. If you're always looking where you're not content. And I think being content is the most important.
That's my word of the year, Shelley.
Oh, that's a good one.
that's a good
Mhm.
word.
I fight that, but I'm working on that.
One thing that, and I did it in Alvin, and I did it here, and that was open my home up to
Mhm.
people and just love on them, get to know their story, get to know who they are. I had out on my driveway, we had back in November, we had a chili night, and
Yeah.
we invited everyone on the block, and our block is pretty spread out. We're on acreage, but I think we had 30 families invited, and 15 showed up. So half.
Well, That's good.
We had name tags, and I took pictures of everyone with their name tags so we would remember who they are, and just got to visit with them. Some people had lived here 12 years and didn't know the people down the street from them.
Wow. How'd you feed them?
Chili.
Did you
chili.
make all the chili or did you do like a chili cook-off?
No, we made all the chili and said, we'll have the chili. And if you want to bring something that goes with chili, bring your own drink and your own chair. And people
That's a great idea.
their drinks, and we just had a good time out on the driveway. There was quite a few of them, and so we
Yeah.
just had a great time. And they said, "Hey, are we going to do this next month?
Yeah, you
No.
get to make the chili.
Who wants to volunteer?" And I'm sad to say that I've had a couple of people ask, "Hey, when are we going to do our next one?" And that was November. Here we are in June, so it's been over 6 months. That's all.
Well, you get to plan it.
I know. I'm
Plan it for next year
out there again.
or this year.
Well, in our neighborhood, we were the newbies in the cul-de-sac and trying to get to know the other neighbors. And in the course of the past year, our next door neighbor moved. And so we have a new neighbor coming in, and I'm looking forward to they're coming in over the course of 6 months. So once they are in and settled, we are going to have a cul-de-sac pool party and have everyone come. And we're really looking forward to that. Just getting to know the ones that we've already met better and getting to know our new neighbors and introducing them to the cul-de-sac neighbors.
Love that.
Oh,
That's good. Okay, real quick. We're about to wrap it up, and we did this on another episode. So I don't have a lot of rapid fire questions, but I'm going to throw some out there. Okay. I'm not going to answer. I just want y'all three. That way I'm not.
Sure.
I know.
Yeah. No, nobody.
Family food button.
Just answer first thing that comes across your
Okay.
mind, and then I'm going to wrap it up with a couple of things.
No prizes.
We're done. No prize.
Okay. I'll relax.
Okay, ready? Best food scene or town?
Town.
City has more to offer.
Yeah, they do.
I think it depends on what kind of food you want. That doesn't make it rapid fire when you go into the detail.
No, it doesn't. But best place to raise kids.
Town.
Okay. I would have said city. Best dating scene.
City.
Because I know what happens in those pasture parties.
Pasture.
Pasture parties.
Field. Field.
Okay. Okay.
Not like as in the pastor of the church.
I was like, what? Okay. Best music.
City.
City.
Definitely city.
Oh, no. I heard some great music in Lukenbach.
Yeah, but you've been
Okay.
to some great concerts in the city.
Yeah, we have. We have. Best dating scene.
City.
City.
You don't want your girls marrying farm boy?
They can marry whoever they want.
Stacy, you didn't say. What was yours?
No, I haven't dated in 40 years.
Best place to retire.
Yeah.
Shall we?
I'm trying to convince Andy City.
Okay, see? Well, I'm going to tell you that on the best food scene, I know most of y'all said small town, but we were on the way to Cheryl's birthday celebration and we stopped in East Bernard at a barbecue place called Vincent. Maybe it's Vinchek's because it is a Czech place. So good. Probably one of the best barbecue places I've eaten at. And
Wow.
we had about 4 or 5 people stop constantly walking by. Everything okay? Y'all need anything? I was like, oh, that's so cool. So I want to do a shout out to the Vincheks, and I'm probably
Butchered it.
I hope that y'all have enjoyed just our discussion on small town versus big city. And some of you may be from the big city and see things differently, or from a small town and want to be in the big city. I don't know. We would love to hear your feedback, questions, comments, whatever. Just let us know. But also, we want to say thank you for joining us. We know that you can spend your time anywhere, and we appreciate you spending your time with us. Next week, we will have episode 19. Shelley will be hosting it on celebrating America's 250th birthday and patriotism. So I hope you will join us for that. Until then, remember, life is messy, meaningful, and better when shared. Thank you. Like us.
Shipment.
And subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.